I don't know why I'm doing this, and I also know that it's probably a bad idea because of people who love to root for my downfall and make fun of me. And if you hear a cat in the background, that's because I just adopted a new cat and she's very talkative, so you might just have to put up with that if I can't edit it out. Also, if you notice the camera shaking, it's because my cat is repeatedly trying to brush up against the tripod that the camera's on, so I have to keep trying to steady it and stop her, and I apologize for that too, but I don't think that this would go any better if I just locked her out of the room, because then she'd start howling and that would also be a nightmare. Anyway, I'm going to continue with what I was saying, and we'll just all try to work around these issues and figure it out. What I wanted to talk about the most is why I decided to come forward again and tell my story again after all this time, about 10 years from when it started. And there's several reasons for this, which I know is just going to get me teased and trolled and whatever, but that's what life is for me, because these people, as I've said throughout my entire video series, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it if I don't make videos, and they're going to do it if I do make videos. So I just don't care anymore. First and foremost, last year was an extremely hard year for me because of the fact that I lost 2 dogs to cancer, one within 6 months of the other one. It wasn't very shocking because both of the cancers in the dogs were very slow moving, so we knew that it was going to happen, but it's still hard to lose a pet like that. And then earlier this year, I lost my cat Wilson, who I had had for 16 years. And I know that as a pet owner, somebody who's had a lot of pets in my life, that you develop these bonds with these pets and you are with them for a good period of time, some shorter than others, and you lose them. But I kind of lost all my pets one after another, after another, after another. And it just destroyed me, because typically, you know, when you have pets, you just have like the one or the two. You don't have like a whole domino effect like that. And that was part of what was really hard for me. Now, specifically after I lost Sawyer, which was in February of 2023, it was very hard for me because Sawyer was like a once in a lifetime dog. I've had many dogs and I've loved all of them, but Sawyer was a very important dog to me. The whole issue surrounding him was that when I went to adopt him, I was told that he had a lot of health issues and he would not live a normal lifespan if the health issues weren't taken care of, and that it could be expensive, it may not work, the treatment may not work, and he may die in a few years. And everybody I knew, literally everybody I knew at that point, was telling me not to adopt him because he was just going to die and it would just be like a whole money pit. And it was a situation where I saw this dog and I met this dog and he was great, and he maybe had 3 days to live at the pound, because this was not at a rescue shelter or a haven. This was a pound. So I was like, you know what? He has more time to live than 3 days. It will at least be a few years, and I don't see why I shouldn't take care of this dog until the inevitable happens, even if it's only a few years from now. And people thought I was insane because they thought it was a waste of time and money, but I didn't care because that was my dog and I wanted to have him. And I'm glad that I made that decision, because after an experimental treatment and about 2 or 3 years, he was cured and he lived a very long and normal, healthy lifespan, probably longer than most dogs of his type do. And I had all that time to experience with him and, you know, connect with him, and he was just everything to me. And it was shortly after he was put down that we found out that the other dog, Scarlet, she had cancer and it was in her leg, and her leg had to be amputated. But in between this period of time when Sawyer passed and before we knew about Scarlet, I was not handling it very well at all. because I've never had a dog that I was that like connected to. And I started having all these health problems. Or more accurately, I had health problems before this happened. And then the grief and the stress and the depression of going through this loss kind of exacerbated everything that I was already feeling. And I got really sick and I lost a lot of weight and I didn't know what was going on. So I went to see a whole bunch of specialists because my first doctor told me that she thought that I had symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. And I was sent to see a rheumatologist who he was a jackass, and I don't want to get into it, but he ran a bunch of tests on me, and it was found that I have an autoimmune disease. And I don't want to get into the specifics of it or anything like that, because I know that people will just, well, either people will think I'm lying or they'll want me to prove it or whatever, and I don't care. You can believe me or you cannot believe me, but that's the case, is that I have an autoimmune disease. It's not something that can be cured. It is something that, I mean, I will technically live a normal lifespan. There's nothing that says I can't, but the symptoms of this are just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's going to deteriorate my body over time. And there's not much I can do about that other than take medication and hope to slow it down. And I didn't handle that very well, because imagine hearing that and you're not even like old, or you don't consider yourself to be old, and suddenly now you have debilitating chronic pain and problems diagnosed to you for the rest of your life. And you know that it doesn't get better because a disease like this doesn't get cured. It's only maintenance and it's only slowing it down. So you know that your quality of life is just downhill from there. And, you know, after that, Scarlett, she was put down, and then a few months later, it was Wilson. And I think Scarlett was most heartbreaking because she was still young. She was only 7 years old, and her breed lives quite a bit longer than that. So that was really hard. But in all of this, with what I'm dealing with my health and this fighting with the doctors in the healthcare system, because doctors are terrible, hospitals are terrible, this whole situation is terrible, and realizing that I really have nothing left to lose at this point. I don't. And I know there's people out there who hate me, and they would probably say that I deserve this, or that this is my karma, or whatever the hell else. Maybe people say that I'm lying because I want attention, or that I'm trying to get donations or something, or I want pity. I don't want any of that stuff. I just want to explain what led me to this decision to repost my story and why it was right now. It was because of all these things. And I realized that, you know, life isn't getting any longer. It's very, very short. And if there's something that I want to say about something, then I should say it. And it doesn't fucking matter if people hate me. It doesn't matter if the internet makes a whole fucking forum about me to complain about me. It doesn't matter. Because why do I care what those people think? I know who I am, and I know what the truth is, and I know the truth in my story and what I've said, and I know that it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't. Because ultimately, I am clearly not an insanely successful author like I thought I would be. I have published books. I have sold a couple hundred of them, which is decent considering, you know, the way things are this day and age. If you look it up, the average author who isn't famous sells maybe 150 books in their lifetime, and I've broken 500. So I guess that's an accomplishment, but it's still laughable compared to anybody who's commercially successful as an author. And that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I thought it would be. But in the end, it's like, even if I were to break through with that and one of my books were to go viral, or I was suddenly a bestseller or something like that, these people who are rooting for my downfall, they would see that immediately. I would be canceled immediately, and I would never actually have the opportunity to live my life as a successful author, because I already have people waiting around the corner to destroy me should I see any form of success. And I know that if that's the case, I don't want to live my life in fear of these people, and I don't want to hold back my thoughts or opinions on things because I might be scared of the consequences. And that's what these people want. They want me to be quiet. They want me to not say anything because it harms them, it harms their feelings, it triggers them, and it drives them insane that reality is the way reality is, and nothing is going to stop the truth from being told. So here I am now with all of this weighing on me all the time. I'm pretty much in constant pain because of the autoimmune thing that I suffer from. The pain is not being managed properly because doctors are absolutely shitty at helping manage any sort of chronic pain these days. And I'm realizing that because there's no way for me to find success in what I really wanted to do in the first place, there is no real reason why I shouldn't tell this story and keep it up and let everybody know what the truth is from somebody who experienced it firsthand. I don't know where the channel is going to go from here. I don't know what else I'm going to do with it. Maybe I'll just leave this up because it gets a lot of attention. Sorry, my cat was over there doing something. But that's just the situation that I'm in, is that, you know, I can't sell too many books because then I'll draw attention to myself and I'll be canceled. I don't have much more content for this channel because people don't really want to hear what I have to talk about or what I want to talk about. And I have all these health issues, and it's just, life is unfair. Life is painful. Life sucks. Life is meaningless. And if I can have any sort of meaning, or if I can make any sort of meaning, then the one thing that I can do is tell my story and tell the truth. And that's exactly why I came back. If there are any more videos, I don't know what they're going to be about, but this is a situation that I'm in, and I thought I would just let everybody know.